Welcome, one and all across the country. Today is August 20th, 2015, and this is our 39th Mastermind call. Thank you all for showing up, for being on time, and taking a half hour out of your lives to spend and share with us. One more reminder, I mentioned this while we were waiting to start the recording. If you know you're going to have a question, hit *6 and then hit 1. If you want to make a comment, *6 and then hit 1. And you can do that any time during the call. And as soon as I see that there are calls in the queue, then my partners and I will kind of cut back on what we're talking about, and we'll turn the floor over to you. Again, hit *6 and 1. Tim, as the CEO, anything you want to share with the group this week?
I have nothing particularly executive to share other than we are continuing to try to stay on top of our growth curve, and that's not always easy. We've had some exciting growth in our company, and as is often the case, can't always be prepared for that. So we've been laboring under some of that as we grow and add capability and additional automation, but we appreciate the tolerance of some of our folks who have had things that have gotten delayed a little bit and all that sort of stuff. And I think we're going to talk a little bit later in the call. Maybe I'll cover a kind of the Done For You program that we're sort of getting started on, and we'll go from there. But why don't you go ahead and get started on what you're doing?
Yeah, I was going to recap the last call that we did put an invitation out there. We are now able to get divorce leads in most parts of the country. We put it out to the group. If you do have an interest in divorce leads, we do not have the back end, the training material to the point where we want it yet, but we've had a number of clients say, that's okay, I've done divorce deals before, send me the leads, and we are in a position to be able to do that. We have not created the site or anything, but we're doing it on a by request basis right now. So if you know you are interested in getting a quote on divorce leads for your market, just email me, jim@alltheleads.com, and we'll get back to you and let you know if they are available yet in your market. And forgive me for sharing the same old joke if you've heard this before, but I was sharing with an agent that it looks like we get about twice as many divorce leads on average as probate per county. And the agent said, well, of course you can only die once, which makes perfect sense. Some people get divorced more than one time. So that is available. We also mentioned, and Tim's going to expand on it a bit later, we now have 2 clients in our Done For You program. We have 2 pilot people that we are basically doing everything for them. And I'm even going to do the recording for them, and they're going to wait for the phone to ring. So if you do have an interest in that, likewise, just email me, jim@alltheleads.com. And my partner, Chad, is getting ready to go backpack across Europe for 2 weeks. So do you have any parting comments, Chad, or anything you want to share with the group?
I do. A lot of people have expressed interest in the Probate Mastery webinar series. And if you're not familiar with what Probate Mastery is, that's our highest level of training that comes with the Certified Probate Expert designation. And we're going to start a webinar series when I get back. So it'll be virtual training where, small groups, we will get on and do it together. And you can kind of hear other people's questions and learn from them. We're also doing the one-on-one. So training is the advanced training is kind of on pause until September 10th. When I return, and I will probably on the Facebook group and by email let you guys know when that next Probate Mastery webinar series will start. So it's 3 sessions, and we'll probably just pick one evening, a midday or an evening, and do 3 consecutive weeks, and then restart a new class and just keep that going. So that's on my plate when I get back. We'll start doing that because I know a lot of you guys have expressed an interest in that. So we will be resuming training on September 10th.
Excellent. And I just want to make a comment on that, Chad. I had a long conversation with the gentleman before the call who's probably going to get started and signed up this afternoon. And he was a little bit overwhelmed. He is kind of a high analytical, and he had read every word on our website. And there was so much there, it was like, when am I going to be able to accomplish all this? And I and I assured him that everything you need to be successful with this is free. It's available online and it's free. And the number one thing you need to do, if you haven't done, go to the subscriber resource area, watch those 5, 10 to 12-minute videos, the fast track videos, and you're good to go. The certification, the extra training, there's no such thing as having too much good information, but there's nothing in there that you have to know before you get out there and start taking probate listings. So don't suffer from paralysis by analysis. Our intent with your leads is to give you everything you could possibly need. But as we get requests for additional services, like the divorce, like the Done For You program, and like the certification, we're going to offer it to the agents that want it. But do that at your own pace. Get out there and start making some money, and then when you have the time and the extra funds, get the extra education. And like Chad said, we are really going to diligently work over the next 6 months or so to try to get that course certified by some of the state boards. So possibly, eventually, our goal will be that you'll be able to get some continuing education credit by taking that course. So, and that is pretty much it. Any other? We have no questions in the queue, guys. So you don't want to hear the three of us talk. We got a really good turnout. There's 40 or 50 people. Somebody must have a success story, a win, a place that they're, a choke point, as Chad calls them, where you're getting stuck, a question. There's no such thing as a bad question. Please, if you have anything that you want to share with the group or have the group answer,
hey, Jim.
Hit star 6 and 1. Yes, sir.
Hey, while you're waiting, see if anybody wants to ask us anything. Let me add one thing. One of the questions that we get as people order their mailings through the Mailbox Motivator, they're confused sometimes about what they can and can't do and what needs to get done and all of that. And I'll erase a little bit of that on this call. When you want to have us do the mailings for you, and I'll kind of go back to our original premise. The whole base of this program is pretty straightforward and simple in that you order the leads arrive, you do your mailings, and you follow up with a phone call. And that, at its very heart, is the heart of our system. Now, all of the other things that we offer in terms of training and all the other information and things that you can learn to become more and more of an expert on probate as you go are the things that help you close the sales once you get that done. But the process itself is very simple. We ship you leads, you do the mailings, and you call them back. After that process is done, then you can get better at it. But let's talk about the mailing for just a quick second. So we, on the form for the Mailbox Motivator, which is located under System on our website, you can drop down and take a look at the Mailbox Motivator page, and it pretty much talks about how that's done. And there's a form on there that allows you to order your mailings. On that, you have a bunch of different options that you can pick from, and one of them allows you to choose the letter that you're going to mail. You can either upload a custom version of it, or you can ask us to simply take the version that we offer and customize it to fit you. In other words, we'll put your contact information, your information in that letter and get it out for you. Or you can download the letter, take a look at it, edit it, and come back and upload it to that form, and we'll send out the exact words and text that you do. You also have the ability to upload your logo, your company's logo, or your picture, or anything else you'd like to go on that letter. But be aware that even if you upload your letter to us, or even if you select the basic letter or anything else, we very carefully make sure that it's unique to you. We'll change the wording on it. We'll make sure that it's unique in the marketplace so that if someone receives it from you, it won't be like any other letter that they've received from somebody else in your marketplace. And we also make sure that we run it through sort of our grammar checking and everything else, and make sure that everything looks right so that you'll be proud of that letter when it goes out. We'll also, if you want, at least the first time out, we'll send you a proof of it via PDF so you can take a look at it. So don't kill yourselves worrying about what it is that you upload. Know that you're going to get the opportunity to take a quick look at it before it has to go out the door, and we'll try to cut our cycle time. That's one of the things that we've been having trouble with, is our cycle time on these mailings. And we'll cut our cycle time down now, and we're going to try to get this done within 48 hours of receipt. We should be able to get that out the door for you, 48 hours business days. So 2 business days or less, your mailing will go out, and that's including getting it edited and getting it done back for you. So just go get it done, get it to us. And if we've got questions or you've got questions, we'll be happy to work with you. I walked 2 people through this process yesterday, and we actually streamlined something on the form as a result of that process. So I'm just trying to answer some questions about mailings, and I'm done now.
Yeah, and we have nobody in the queue, so we're going to keep talking until somebody asks a question, or you guys all hang up on us. Hopefully that won't happen. *6 and hit 1 if there's any questions about anything. We had a very vocal group last week. We got a quiet group this week. Tim, I've had several questions about, and again, this is an add-on, and I don't know how many people are doing it. And you don't have to have it, having said those qualifiers. But I've had 2 or 3 questions about the website. If you want a customized probate website, do you want to expand on that a bit?
Yep, we actually offer that. We originally offered it on a platform that we started a year or so ago for that. We've now rolled it over to become a normal, regular WordPress website. The site has a lot of content on it. It has the frequently asked questions about probate. It appears to, that you've put all this data together. The desire or the intent of the website is to make sure that you look to any prospective clients as an established probate person in your marketplace who's developed expertise. In addition to that, there's an attorney gatherer so that if you do contact your attorneys that are on your probate leads list and you want to give them a place to go look, it gives them a place to land as well as giving them a place to enter their data so that you can establish that direct relationship with them. That also makes sure that your prospective personal representatives customers have the opportunity to look at it and see that you indeed do have relationships with attorneys. You do have a lot of information about probate on the site, and the site is designed to make sure that they understand that you've developed specific and unique expertise in probate. After probably tomorrow, Friday at the latest, we'll be publishing, or Friday is tomorrow, we'll be publishing the link on the website for the sample sites you can go look at for the new one. Feel free to feel free to order it. We'll get it out to you. We'll certainly talk to you before we put it up, and we'll make that available to you very soon. But we do have it available now, and we'll be glad to get it done for you. The price for it is a $99 setup fee, and that includes the customization for you. We'll put your picture on it. We'll change the header and logo and change the content so that it is unique to you in your marketplace, and it is a site that once it's done, you can add any content to it that you want. What generally our customers do is they establish a probate website to develop the expertise, and that's where they send traffic. When they contact someone that wants to know about it, they'll send them to that. On the site, they typically link back to, from the site, they place a link to their regular real estate website, and they place a link from their regular real estate website to their probate website. So you're covering both bases, and you're also building traffic for both of them. Final thing I'll say is that it is indeed a regular WordPress website, which would allow you to get in there and edit it yourself if you chose to do that going forward.
Excellent. *6 and hit 1. I'm almost tempted to have somebody just hit *6 and 1 and just say hello so I know it's working. I don't think we've ever had a call where nobody had a question, so we have a very quiet group. Hey, somebody did it. All right. I'm okay if you just say hello. Area code 214. Hang on. Thank you for being our first person to speak and save the team. How you doing? This is you on there with me, 214?
Hi, this is Zola in Dallas, Texas.
Hi, Zola.
Hi. So I have a question. I have sent out 2 mailings, and I'm wondering at what point should I start to expect responses, because I've not really gotten any yet.
Are you following up with phone calls, or are you just doing the mailings?
I have just been doing the mailings.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how to get all of these numbers. There's so many numbers to get them into my contact management system to manage the numbers to call. I just seem to be overwhelmed with the number of numbers and trying to get them into a format.
Okay,
let me get my calls.
Yeah, let me take this a little bit, Jim, and I'll make a couple of suggestions. First off, you're getting it in a CSV format. You can open that up obviously in Excel, and you only, if you're worried about getting it into your contact manager, even though we give you 5 columns of information, the best one is generally the first one. We give you the others if you're unable to reach them on the first one, then you can dial down the tree. But I would simply highlight that column in your spreadsheet in Excel. And if you don't use Excel, you can bring it up in Google Docs as well, and that's free. Either way you do it, just get that one column, and any way that you would normally put that into your contact management system, almost every contact management system has the ability to import a CSV file. If you're having trouble doing that, what content or what dialing system are you using?
I'm dialing by hand, but I use Follow Up Boss as my contact management system.
Okay, and does it have the ability to import?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm sure that it would take it in a CSV file, so if you want to put the entire record in, you can do that if it maps it that way, or if you can only put the phone numbers in, just highlight that first column rather than worrying about all 5 of them or however many you have. Just do that single first column. We always make that what we feel is likely to be the best way to contact them, and just put that column in there.
Well, won't I also need to have the executor's name and the property address?
You will if your system can import that, and that's why we give it to you in a CSV file. Without knowing what your system requires for input, I can't tell you specifically what fields to include or not include, but generally, if you take your Excel spreadsheet that we give you and you look at what your system requires, let's just say for argument's sake that they're asking for first name, last name, city, state, zip, and phone number or something like that, just as an argument.
Yes.
We go in and open up your spreadsheet, delete all of the columns except those, and resave the file with a different name as a CSV file. That's comma separated values. Save it as a separate file name, and then that's the file you can input into your system. Just delete those columns and save it again.
Okay, got it.
Okay?
Got it. Okay, and so basically the letters alone are definitely not going to extract any results. I need to follow up with a call.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. The results for this vary so greatly by region, and it depends on, there are so many regional differences. We've probably had a dozen agents that got 5 listings their first month just by doing mailings. But the recommended program is that you do the mailings and follow up with the phone call to get the maximum results. We have had agents only do mailings and have success. We've had agents only pick up the phone and have success. But I think your results will be quicker if you do both. And you certainly, the conversion rate is going to be higher for people that you get on the phone. My partner Chad has really tracked his numbers, and Chad, I think you average 2 listings for every 100 letters and 1 listing for every 10 phone conversations, correct?
It's 2 listings per round of the sequence. So if I send out 100 letters and make 100 phone calls, I'll get 2 listings.
Okay.
So we're finding over time, and Zola, just to answer your question, I mean, the letters, they can produce on day 1 or they can produce 8 or 9 months later. And Jim and I both listed homes that, people, we haven't sent mail for 6, 7, 8 months, and people call and basically say, come list me. I'm finally ready, and I think what you're doing is great. So it's you kind of have to have a long-term view on this. You can't, not everybody is going to move at the same pace. Some people are in what I call the probate quicksand, and they're just not emotionally ready to break through whatever it is they have to do. If it's getting the personal property dealt with or getting rid of an ugly family member who's has leverage against them, there's a million different scenarios. So don't get discouraged, I guess is what I'm saying. But you are going to do better if you make the phone calls or at least do ringless voicemails. I am going to email you. I've got it's a very detailed video on how I do my lead import into Top Producer. And what I do is great. I make the executor the main contact, and then I put in all the phone numbers. I use the deceased last name address as the primary property. The executor's mailing address is the secondary property, and then I push everything else into the notes. So all the information that we provide is front and center when I'm making the calls. It's just most of it's in the notes field, because there's no CRM that's set up for date of death or date of probate filing or docket number, things like that. So
Right.
Follow-Up Boss is a pretty good program. You should be able to map any information that doesn't really have a place to fit. You just map it into the notes field, so you always have it.
Okay,
I'll send you that video.
Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. And are you using a dialer?
I'm a pretty lazy prospector. I just do I use voice casting and drop a ringless voicemail.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I can call 200 people in 5 minutes for $30. It's worth every penny to me.
Okay. So you don't do actual calls, just do the voice drop.
Right. So we do 3 letters and 3 voicemails, and we try to drop the voicemail a day or 2 behind the letter. So typically we'll place a mail order on Thursday, which means it hits mailboxes on Tuesday, and then we're placing calls on Wednesday or Thursday, which means we're getting our listing appointments set for Friday and Monday. I leave both of those days open, so I'm not in the office on Fridays and Mondays. So that's kind of how we set up our sequence.
Okay.
Question: How many leads are you getting per month right now?
Is that to me?
Yes, to you.
I'm getting about close to 100, like 99 to 89 to 100.
Okay. The reason I ask, I get asked a lot from agents, what's better, a phone call or a ringless voicemail? And if you're getting 10, 15, 20 leads a month, pick up the phone and call them. If you're getting 100 and you're just a voracious prospector and you'll get through them, pick up the phone and call them. But if you're not going to make the calls, the voicemail is a very close second. I mean, that's all I did, and I got great results in South Florida. I just sent out the ringless voicemail, and I sent a very generic message. And Chad, I think, has scripts for the message to leave, and it does work. It bypasses their phone, goes directly to their voicemail, and the people that are interested will call you back. So at 100, if you know you're not going to pick up the phone and make those calls, spend the $5 and do the ringless voicemail. At least the people will be contacted by phone. And 95% of those people will have no idea that you didn't pick up the phone and call them. They really can't distinguish it between a actual voicemail or a mechanical one.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. One other question regarding the website, or if I may, do you have time for another?
And by the way, *6 and hit 1. This is the Zola show today. You're the only one, so keep asking questions.
Okay. With regards to the website,
mm-hmm.
How do I know if I've heard people say that once they send out letters that they can tell that they've got an increase in people looking at their website? And I do have a website, a probate website, but I don't know how to determine if people have gone on it to look at it.
So what type of website do you have?
The one that you guys provide. Yeah.
Oh.
The ones that I got through you guys.
I'll be glad to take that offline, but I'll show you where you can pull down the statistical information that will give you that answer, and I'll send you an email about where to look, or have somebody call you and walk you through that.
Okay, perfect.
Because you can definitely track your stats on that, and that's the whole purpose of doing it, is to make sure that people are actually visiting it, and if your letters are referring to that, then you should be good to go. But we'll be happy to walk through all that with you and make sure we have the data.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, Jim, there's one other thing I want to cover, and this had to do with one of the things that Chad said, and Chad mentioned that he puts the information into Top Producer, and he uses the decedent's known address as one of the targets and all that. We frequently get asked this question, and I kind of always think we need to cover it on this call. We do furnish you, one of the data points that we furnish you whenever it's available, and it isn't always available, and it's not available in every county, but it is for the most part, a decedent's last known address. The one thing I want to bring up about that is that you need to be well aware that may or may not be the address of the property that person either lived in, or has any relationship to. And the reason I say that is, depending on the court and depending on the way the reporting is done, it could in fact be their home, could be a house that they lived in, And that may well be the exact house that's in probate, and that's great if it is. But it also could be an assisted living facility. It could be the residence of a child that is taking care of an aging parent. It could be a nursing home. It could be any number of things, or it simply could be a legal address that they were using to receive mail, and none of those are guarantees that it's probate. So in the best scenario, it's a great address. If not, it's at least something that you can use as a rule of thumb, but you need to view it as a clue, not a certainty. And remember, if your county doesn't provide the info, we can't provide it for you. So if you don't see it there, it's not because we haven't included it, it's just because it's not available in your county. But don't view that as a guarantee that that's a probate in your county. You're going to have to be in touch with those people. That's the purpose in those contact calls, to make sure that, in fact, you're talking to a person who does, in fact, have a property to sell.
Great point. And I was going to share, I've had a couple questions about scrubbing the list this week, and we don't need to go into a lot of detail. We discourage you from doing it for many reasons. The only way you know for sure what real estate is owned, if any, and how much, is to talk to the executor. And every conversation you have, this is such a unique niche, and there's so few agents doing it. Every conversation you have with anybody is a chance to tell them that you specialize in this and to kind of get your brand message out there. We've had 4 or 5 cases where someone contacted the executor and the real estate was sold, but the person said, "Give me your name and number," and because my mom is in a facility and we're going to need to sell her property, and then a few weeks later she got a call back. We've had a couple cases where someone called and said, "You got the wrong phone number, but tell me what you do," and they ended up getting listings from it. So don't take every advantage if you get someone on the phone. The only way you're going to know for sure is to talk to the executor. And when you get them on the phone, whether you can help them or not, make sure they know that this is something you specialize in, because we all, unfortunately, it's just the way it is, know people that are going to die, and family and otherwise. So don't miss an opportunity to let people know that this is your niche and what you specialize in. And along the same lines, for that reason, we really don't recommend that you scrub the list, because you may be scrubbing out some great opportunities. You may see an address and say, "Hey, I don't want to go there," and like Tim said, it might be a downtown address of a hospice or a nursing home, and they may own an upscale house in the valley or the hills. So don't
or a $63 million hotel in Carmel, like that lady, just the story that we heard yesterday.
I missed that one.
No.
Ted?
So one of our subscribers found, and they had sold it before the death, but the decedent had multiple properties, one of which was a $63 million oceanfront hotel.
Oh.
So anytime you scrub, you stand a chance of losing opportunities like that.
Excellent. Well, thank you, guys. That brings us up to 30 minutes. If somebody has a last-minute question, *6 and 1. Otherwise, we'll let you all get back to work. Thank you so much for our participant today, for your great questions. Thank you, guys, for showing up. No other questions, so everybody get back to work. Get out there, take some massive action this week. Have a success story and come back and share it with us next Thursday. And we'll be thinking about Chad backpacking across Europe. But Tim and I will be here next Thursday, guys. Make it a great week.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.